The Quinnipiac men's basketball team has landed a new head coach, Baker Dunleavy, just 48 hours after the Quinnipiac women's basketball team wraps up its Cinderella story, making it all the way to the Sweet 16. The men's program landing Dunleavy, the former associate head coach of Villanova University in Philadelphia. To break all the news down, I'm now joined alongside Josh Verlin of cityofbasketballlove.com. Josh is the owner and editor, covers all the premier high school and college basketball in the Philadelphia area. Josh, thanks for giving us a little bit of your time.
Yeah, of course, Maury. Thanks so much for having me on.
Josh, what's the initial reaction in Philadelphia about Dunleavy, leaving and pursuing his first head coaching job?
I mean, really, down here in Philadelphia, it was only a matter of time before Dunleavy ended up taking a head coaching position somewhere. I mean, he'd been associate head coach at Villanova the last 4 years during the premier program in the area's most successful 4-year run in its history. I mean, Villanova won 129 games over these last 4 years, obviously won the national title last year. And you can certainly say it helps having players like Josh Hart and Ryan Arcidiacono, but those in the program will tell you Baker had just as much to do with that success. Really hard worker, someone who came out of the Villanova program, played there in that first run from 02 to 06 that saw them go to the Elite Eight. Then comes back as a director of basketball operations, gets promoted to an assistant coach, takes over as associate head coach, the number 2 guy under Jay Wright. And like I said, just a matter of time before he went and got a program of his own.
Josh, what are Baker's strengths and what will he bring to the Quinnipiac basketball program?
I mean, I think his strengths are that he's good at everything, ultimately. I mean, he was someone who, Villanova utilized as a recruiter. He would go out and recruit, and obviously they brought in some tremendous recruits over the last few years that the whole staff was responsible for bringing in. But, some schools will hide 1 or 2 coaches, keep them off the road, but Baker can recruit. He can coach. I know he was responsible for a lot of their skill development with the guards and the bigs. He'd be working with them in practice. He's great from a leadership mentality standpoint. He's someone who played Division I basketball, and more importantly, he comes from this Villanova program that has a different mentality than most of the programs in Division I basketball. I'm not going to say they're unique, but they certainly have their very specific mindset, and they're exceptionally good at making all of their players buy into that. And I think that'll be his biggest strength coming to Quinnipiac, is his knowledge of coming from a program that had such a tremendous buy-in and now getting Quinnipiac to have that sort of same level of commitment.
Quinnipiac has had a number of transfers, over the last 3-4 years, so I definitely think that Dunleavy coming to Quinnipiac will help. The buy-in, is definitely crucial. 2 of its best players, Mikey Dixon, Peter Kiss, just announced that they asked Quinnipiac to leave. We'll get to that in a minute. Back to Dunleavy. You cover a lot of the premier high school basketball players in Philadelphia. You said Dunleavy, can recruit really well. So with the crop of talent that's in Philadelphia now over the next few classes, can you give us a name or 2 or 3 of a target that Dunleavy could get to come up to Hamden?
Well, I would hate to name any specific players because especially with the younger kids, it's a little early to project what specific levels they will be at. And I don't want to put any specific pressure on kids, especially with a brand new coaching staff. But what I can say is that I do think there are a number of very good low to mid-major prospects in that 2018, 2019, and even from what we've seen from the 2020 class so far. And certainly it helps. I mean, Baker's originally from Portland, but he did his prep here in Lawrenceville Prep in New Jersey, and he's obviously spent a lot of time in the Philadelphia area over the last 10, 15 years. So I think he's going to recruit. I don't think Quinnipiac's maybe the type of program that can recruit at a national level like Villanova does, but I think you'll see him use some of those West Coast contacts, but certainly hit this area hard and recruit the Northeast and really try to make that a hub for Quinnipiac.
Villanova, a guard-dominated team. That's how they've been so successful for the past decade. The MAC, the conference is very guard-dominated. Do you think the transition for Dunleavy will be easy, Josh?
I mean, I do. I don't think conference to conference really matters that much. I think basketball is basketball. I do agree with you that the MAC, basketball only, as a basketball league, does have some similarities to the Big East, and that there's some very strong teams at the top, teams that really like to run and gun. But I think that's just sort of the way basketball is going in general. Just good guards, even bigs now. There's skilled bigs. Villanova's had 4-out, and it's used its 4-man. It's really a bigger wing, like a Chris Jenkins or an Eric Paschal. And then have that true post in the center. So I do think, you'll see a similar style, but ultimately I think now you get the best kids that you can get, and you coach around that. But I would imagine he would have a guard-oriented system.
It's pretty late in the springtime. Pretty much, a lot of the players in this class, in the 2017 class, have committed. But if you're Dunleavy, what are some of the first things that you're checking off the list when you arrive at Quinnipiac?
Yeah, I certainly think you want to reach out to the current players. I know you said a lot of guys have announced they will transfer. And that obviously could certainly happen with a coaching change. I do think, Baker has the ability to reach out to some of those players because of the pedigree that he comes from. I think you might be able to convince one or two of them to stay, similar to what happened last year with Mark Inglesby at Delaware. Some of those players said they were going to transfer. He came in, was able to actually convince some of those guys to stay. So I think that's certainly priority one, is reach out to those guys. Put your staff together, reach out to those guys, see if they're definitely out or if they have a chance to come back. But then, you guys see what else is out there. You look at what happened, again, to use that Delaware example because they're down in our area. They got Ryan Daly late, and he ended up being the league rookie of the year. So I certainly think if you have the ability, there are guys that are going to be out there. There are guys that are going to be available. It's just getting the guys you can get at this point to have a roster together and just start to implement. Again, it's going to be about culture with them. It's going to be about getting them to play as hard as possible every single night, and that sometimes can take a year or 2 or 3. You got to get the guys in the system. So I do think you'll see Baker be able to get those sorts of kids, and I think you'll see them have success at some point in the near future. But I wouldn't be expecting anything amazing initially.
A player that's transferring from Quinnipiac, Mikey Dixon, played at the Sanford School in Delaware, decorated high school career. You covered him when he was in high school. He just requested to leave. Peter Kiss, the other top guard from Quinnipiac, is asking Quinnipiac to give him his release as well. If they're not with Quinnipiac next year, where do you see them, panning out to be? Are they A-10 players? Are they, low-rung Big East players? Because these are two players that, if they do put on some weight and add a little, a little girth to their frame, they can definitely do some damage in other leagues.
Yeah, I hesitate to really say what specific level for any, I think you look at Dixon, and again, just because I didn't get to see too much of Quinnipiac this year, I know Dixon's a really talented scorer. He put up very good numbers. He averaged 16.5 at Quinnipiac. Looking at his stats right now, shot 37% from 3. To assume that he would be able to jump up to a Big East school, well, that might be a bit of a stretch. Certainly his numbers show that he's capable of contributing at the Division I level at a very high level. And I think you could certainly see some, in terms of whether he's going to transfer up or down, I would imagine he would transfer up. The other one, Peter, I just haven't seen enough of and don't know enough of to comment.
You did come up to Quinnipiac, though, for the Drexel game, correct?
I did. I came up once, but I saw 146 games this year, Maury. I can't say that I'm an expert on all things Quinnipiac.
Oh, I don't expect you to be. That's why we have you on, to give us the Dunleavy side. But Josh, thanks again for a couple minutes of your time and breaking everything down.
Thanks, Maury. Have a good one.